interactive, real-time fishing mobile application where two players can play against each other anywhere in the world. They play for fish coins to move up the leaderboard in their region to be able to win some prizes. Let's take a look. Whenever you go fishing, all you do is open up the Fish Coin app. Make sure you have enough fish coins in your Fish Coin wallet. If not, you can choose from any of the Fish Coin packages. Once you've done this, you can click on Active Maps and search for any active players anywhere in the world. You can click on them to see their profile and stats. From here, you can send them a game request. Now all you need to do is set up the game. Choose how many fish coins you want to play for, then send request. This will notify the player with a sound, and that player can choose to accept or decline the game request. The player accepted, and now you have a 1 hour fishing competition between each other for the Fish Coin prize pot. When you catch a fish, take a picture of that fish, and this will give you a fish score in Fish Coins, and a bonus for small, medium or large. The opponent will get a notification whenever a fish has been caught. All fish caught during the game are scored accordingly. The last 10 minutes of the game, all fish scores are worth double fish coins. At the end of the game, the player with the most fish coin score wins the prize pot. And can share it on any social media platform. Welcome to the new Fish Coin game. All right, g'day guys, welcome back to Fly Fish Live Series 2. Today we have an absolute ripper on our hands. We've got Mark Driver up against Peter Driver, War on the Nore. They're both fishing on the Nore, I think, and let's check out the matchups for round two. Matchups for round two. So we've got Dave Coghlan up against Sean Marr, Mark Driver against Peter Driver, and also we've got Tom O'Connor up against Danny Sizek, and that one's on tomorrow. So we have a special guest today. If you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow us on the other social media. But today we have a special guest, New Zealand's favourite. We have Corey Scott. Let's head over to Corey. Are you there, Corey?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's late evening here in New Zealand. The wet weather's finally set in. The winter's on its way, and it's good to patch in with what's happening in the Northern Hemisphere.
Great to have you back on the show, mate, as always. Let's head down to the competitors. We'll head down to Peter first. Are you there, Pete?
Hi, Josh.
G'day, Pete. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, buddy. And yourself?
How's the weather?
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
too
good.
bad.
How's the
We've had a
weather
lot of
there?
rain this week. We've had a lot of rain this week, but settled off there over the last day or two. So the river's dropping nicely. Seems to be in good conditions. We're going to know in the next hour, I suppose, how good it's going to be. But it's not bad. It's a perfect day for fishing here today.
Awesome. Is there any nerves coming up against Mark?
Not much really. This will be handy enough, I'd say.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, look,
well,
it's been a great build up during the week, me, Mark.
Is and your cameraman is Dave O'Donovan, I believe.
Dave is here with me, yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right, mate. Well, I'll let you go down and get ready into position. We'll be with you in a sec, and we'll cross over to Mark. Are you there, Mark?
You're on mute by host.
Yeah, you're there. We got you now, mate. How's things there? It looks like it's raining, but we actually can't hear you, mate. I think you need to hit your microphone. There we go.
All
now
right.
We got you.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Yeah, the bit of clouds come over the hill there, so there's a good bit of rains after coming off there in the last 5-10 minutes. But the fish are still very active on the surface, so
Here, I just don't.
it'll wake them up a little bit.
I don't.
I
know.
All right,
I'll
mate,
do it such a way that.
We'll get this game straight underway. We'll let you go off and get ready as well. And good
Cheers,
luck.
Josh.
All right. The sponsors for today, we've got Piscari Fly, Syndicate, Syndicate EU, we've got Give Flicks, and also Meander Fly Co. So big thanks to these guys for jumping on board and helping make this happen. Make sure you check them out on their socials and their websites. They've got some good gear, so head on over there. All right, let's get this game underway. Everyone's been waiting for this one.
Unmute.
Are both competitors ready? We have, yeah. We'll just make sure that Mark's microphone's off. There we go. You're good now, mate. All right, so
You can hear us now, Josh, yeah?
Yeah, we got you now, Roger, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Josh,
sweet.
yeah.
Cool. All right, so we'll get this game underway. I'll count down from 5, and then the siren will go, and away you go. All right, are we ready? So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
2, 3,
go.
2, go, 1, go.
All right, Corey. Who's going to win this one, mate?
I'm really liking the look of Mark's water. I mean, I'm not from Ireland. I don't know these rivers, but Mark's got a little bit more sort of pocket and bit structure. It's Peter's more laminar flow. It's a lot harder to fish more effectively. But these guys know what they're doing. It depends, I guess, what technique they're approaching with. I saw that Mark was Euro nymphing. Looks like Peter may be doing the same. I mean, these guys are both local boys. If this was me on this river, I'd probably be swinging wee wets or dry nymphing Peter's water, but doing exactly what Mark's doing on his water.
Yeah. We saw, I think Mark scored 40 his last match and Peter scored 46, and I think they were on the same river in both of their first matches. So we could see a lot of fish caught today, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because Mark mentioned that the fish were active and they were on the surface, but he's chosen to Euronymph. So we'll see how that works out for him. Sometimes it's a quicker method to land fish as opposed to reinvigorating your dry fly after every catch. It slows you down quite a lot.
Yeah. Would a dry dropper be a good option in this situation, or?
With the likes of Peter's water, I would really like to fish that with dry dropper because you can get longer drifts, you can cover more water more systematically. It's quite a slow method with Euro nymphing styles in that type of water.
saw last week we had some trouble with Mother Nature and we lost reception. Poor old Tom Beecher. But let's hope it doesn't happen today.
And you missed a couple there. Just take your time.
Was that you, Rog? Did Mark miss a couple?
Yeah, he dropped one and hit one there. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark.
First blood.
First blood.
First one on.
I wonder how these boys go down when they go fishing together. If there's much of a rivalry there in other competitions. Have you fished against these guys, Corey?
I believe they've been at the World Championships that I've been at. I can't remember which ones.
Just so people know, the scoreboard, it's 1 to Mark, 0 to Peter. Just having a bit of trouble with the scoreboard. 1 sec.
What we get in New Zealand, these guys have both informed me they're fishing for brownies. The brownies will sit in these soft little slow seams.
Fish on for people.
Fish on for
Fish
Peter.
in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete. They said they had some Atlantic salmon coming down the river. It'd be nice to see a big one of them.
That'd be a good spectacle. I mean, I wonder if they brought the Kikkoman sauce with them. A good filleting knife.
We've got Florent Lebec on Facebook. Said, good luck, boys.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
2-1.
2-1. With a bit of rain, Corey, like if we saw that Peter is, it wasn't raining there, but it was raining with Mark. Can it affect your fishing a lot if it's just drizzling or
Fish
not?
on, yeah. Nice fish by the look of it.
Atlantic.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. 2 each.
Fish in the net, Josh.
Yep, got that. Right.
2-0.
2-0.
What can happen when you get a little slight drizzle like that is you probably weren't prepared for it. And so you possibly haven't dressed either your rod or your line, and because you're expecting a nice day. And then all of a sudden this drizzle kicks in and your line starts sticking to the blank of your rod, and you'll watch that Mark's actually forcing his cast, and he's probably just trying to get that line to break off the blank because it's wet and it's stuck.
Yeah.
On top of that, you get drizzle on your sunglasses and you start to fog up. But that's about it. The fishing's still really good. A little bit of rain never hurt the fish. They're wet.
Is it best fishing before the rain or after the rain, from your experience, or during the rain?
No, I don't think it actually matters. Sometimes as the river starts to colour, if it's going to be a heavy rain,
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Pete.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Peter.
3-2. 3-2.
It's almost like fish know they're going to get a few days where they're not going to feed well, so they actually really get into it as it's starting to colour up. And they get super active.
Robbie Berry should be a cracker of a match, and good luck to both of the lads. We've got Neil Hamilton, who's buying a new razor.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish
in the net.
Fish in the net.
4-2.
Hey, Dave, what's Peter fishing? Is he fishing 2 nymphs or dry nymph?
Yeah, he's got 2 3mm beads on 0.12 mono fluorocarbon, an 11-foot reaver, syndicate reaver. That's basically it. Copper beads, I think they're both copper. Oh, double hook up. Gone.
Double hook up for Mark, I think it is.
Yeah, it's gone. Dropped him.
Gone, dropped them both.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Quite often when you get the double, one will go one way, one will go the other, and they bounce each other off. It changes angle on the
That's
hook.
right. Fish on. Fish in net.
Fish in the net. Mark.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the
Hasn't
net.
really. Fish in the net for Pete. Pete hasn't really moved, has he?
3-5.
Ooh.
3-5.
Dave, that run that Peter's in, is that a little bit more defined than what we can see on the camera? Because it kind of looked a little bit laminar and indescript, but he seems to be in the honey.
Yeah, Corey, there's a lot more pull on it than you can see on the camera. Peter's walking up the left-hand bank, but out the centre, there's a good pull there. I mean, it's strong, deeper water, but he's walking the margins here. Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
3-6. All right.
Are you Roger? Are you able to zoom in a little bit?
I'm not sure. This is Mark's phone, not mine.
All right. There we go. Nice. Is that, hey Rog, is that
better?
water? Yeah, that's good. Is that water level the same?
Fish in net.
Fish on for
Fish in the net.
fishing.
Yeah, it's pretty much flat bottom.
Yep. 4-7. Corey, if you were Pete right now, you just still stay there, call it 7 in the basically the one spot. Would you just keep sticking around? Or?
Yeah. The Pete's obviously, if he's pulled 7 out of that, he's in a bit of a honey hole. Now, what you can do there is he's pulled 7 without any effort. He can do one of 3 things. He can change angles, he can change flies, and he could also, if he had time, but these hour-long matches don't allow a lot of changes. He could go to even lighter tippet like 0.09, 0.08, and you'll be surprised you'll pick another 2 or 3 out of that same little hole, especially with browns. But what I would do is just keep going through that whole run and get my tally up and double back around and come through that with a change. Maybe he's got a spare rod with lighter tippet, different flies.
You'd probably definitely head back to that later on in the match.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you catch one fish, you're probably spooking 2 others out of that little lie at the same time. So they're not going to they'll come back.
Yeah.
He's also been head drifting, so fishing up in front of himself. The nymphs are drifting back down towards him. He hasn't swung the nymphs either up, animated, or any of that yet. He's not needing to at this stage, but he could go back through and do all that if the going gets tough.
Second? Yeah. I think it's 4-7. 4-8.
Score is 4-8. And
4-8, sorry.
There's 48 minutes to go.
Got 48 minutes left.
12 minutes gone. If we head over to Peter's camera.
12 minutes gone, you've...
Have a closer look.
I can't see them out the fish. You're ahead, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, 8 to Peter, 4 to Mark.
You be it, Pete.
Have a closer look at what's going on with Pete there.
Yeah, although I went with Mark's water at the start, now that I've seen how he's having to fish it, he's covering a lot of water. He's having to look for a little indentation where the fish there may be singles. There may be just one fish here and there. If he can find one of those little honey holes where he can pull 3 or 4 out of, then he can start to catch up.
Mark.
Let's cross over to Mark's camera.
Tell you what this does do, though, Josh, is it makes me want to go fish. So, I hope everyone else out there is feeling the same way. Let's all go fishing when the sun comes up.
When were you out fishing last, mate?
I wouldn't want to give away any secrets. It wasn't that long ago.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete. 9-4. Looks like Mark's changing his spot here. This type of match, would you try and give yourself like 15 minutes in 4 different areas, or?
Yeah, I've always done that. A lot of my training is based around half an hour segments, so I know what I can fish effectively in half an hour. And so in my mind, when I do get a beat, or I know I have to cover a certain amount of water, I know what distance I can cover in that time.
We got Cole Mullally said absolutely, Corey.
Fishing net.
Fishing net for Mark.
Yep.
That little change up, he might have found a little hole to catch up. What sort of leader would you be running with here, Corey, in this sort of rivers?
Looking at the size of those fish, I'd probably be fishing 0.10. Obviously, you're not. It's obviously not pressured water. You don't in these 1 hour tournaments. You don't need an unnecessary weight off.
Last one. Yeah.
I'd probably run with what the guys are running, 0.12. You can muscle the odd fish and just throw them in the net, and you're not following guys that have already hit the fish. But if I went back through any spots, I'd definitely go lighter.
Yeah.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Pete's up the double figures. 5, 10, and 44.5 minutes to go.
15 minutes gone, Pete.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Four.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete.
That's a good sized fish, that one.
Oh,
yeah.
See what Mark was saying before, he was seeing fish rising, which tells me the fish are active. Looking at what he's doing, every time he hits a new spot and does his first cast, he's hooking up.
Yeah.
There's no real need to continue on, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drifts. He's burning time there. I think he just needs to move to fresher spots faster because the fish are active.
Yeah. Hey, Rog, can you just tilt your camera up just a little bit?
I can, I'll try, yeah. How's that?
Yeah, that's better, mate. That's good.
Peter's going to start getting cramps soon. He hasn't moved.
we're after doing 30 meters. Look at what we have.
Hayden Gill's come on and said, "Good luck, lads." "17 fish been caught in 17, just almost 18 minutes. So it's a fish a minute." So we're talking it up, trying to thinking though there might be 90 fish caught today
Between the two of them?
between the two of them. That'd be good going if that happened.
Yeah, everything's got to go slick for those sort of numbers, but they do happen.
Fish in the net for Peter, for Mark, sorry.
Fish from the neck for Mark. Rogers jumped sides.
Sorry about that.
It's quite
Yeah, not
uncanny
far.
how this looks like New Zealand, though, both of these spots. Well, the same river, but
It does look like New Zealand.
yeah, it does.
It's a bit different to watching you fish, mate. You probably covered about 500 meters by now.
Wow, you guys matched me up in the middle of winter when there were no fish around. I had to. Actually, I went and fished the spot Ollie was supposed to fish in that first round up against, well, the round against Tom, where he had the cell phone difficulties.
Yeah.
And yeah, I took my brother there, and geez, there was I'm talking over 60 fish in half an hour. It was just like ping, ping, ping. So they were there. It was just unfortunate he couldn't get the coverage.
Yeah.
Fish in the net for
Fish
Mark.
on for Peter.
Fish for Mark.
What's the score, Josh?
Did Peter land that one, Dave?
Yes, he landed him.
Yep. The
What's the score,
is
Josh?
12-8. Peter's favour.
12-8. Keep going.
You have 12, Pete.
Fish
And
in the
there's
net
40
again for
minutes
Mark.
to go. Fish in the net for
Fish in
Mark.
the net for Mark.
Yep, got him.
9-12.
Mark's
Keep
got a nice
going.
couple quick ones.
So this is where Mark can really pull it
They're on
back.
target, Peter. That's fine.
Come on, the honey hole.
If he goes again here now, it'll be interesting because it could be stacked in there, 6 or 7 quick ones.
So if we're looking at Mark's water,
Yep, there we go.
He's on again.
Fish in the net.
Fishing in that. So if we're looking at Mark's water, it looks like the same depth all the way. You're looking for just a little hole. A little deep hole, or
He'll either be, that water looks quite clear. He'd either be visually sighting it. There could be a weed bed there, a lip of gravel. But you could also see where the foam line slows down or the current is just different in form.
yeah.
There we
Fish
go.
in the net for Mark.
Fishing in the net for Mark.
Catching up now.
Things are getting tight. 11-12.
They're rising down right. Yeah, just to your left down up, Pete. Doesn't move. They're moving. Yeah.
You can hear
See him?
Dave speaking there. Would you go dry? No chance. How many can you get on a dry? Like how long does it take for the fly to dry out?
I honestly believe every fish you catch on a dry is an extra 30 seconds of preparation after you've released the fish, then a nymph. So you add that up, 4 or 5 minutes gone.
Yeah.
If they're obviously locked on the dry only, you've got to go dry.
Would you have, if you're starting to see a lot of fish rising, would you have one rod with dries and one with nymphs and just swap rods?
Not necessarily, because it depends on the rise form. A lot of the times they're feeding on emergers, so you can still replicate that with a nymph.
Yep.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete.
I was just
Mark's
about
on
to
again.
say Mark needs to step upstream because all his
Fish in the net for Mark.
And that's exactly what he did, didn't he?
Yeah. He fished below himself 8, 9, 10 drifts, nothing, as soon as he went back up again.
So that sort of angle.
What's the score, Josh?
The score is 12-13 to Peter.
12-13. Come on, keep moving.
Would you fish that
Yeah.
same sort of line as when he changed up the whole rest of the game, or?
Fish for Peter.
Well, he's going to have once he drains that hot spot out, he's on again. So
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
There's a honey hole there for sure.
Fish for Peter.
Fish for
Lost.
Peter. Lost.
I don't think Mark landed that fish.
Did Mark
No,
land
he
that
didn't.
fish, Rod? No.
No.
He's got his net out ready. Score
Yeah, he
is
dropped that pinged off
14-12.
there 6 feet.
It must sort of really annoy you when you're out there and you get this fish so close to the net and he comes
Sorry,
off.
Josh, how much time is left?
The time is 35 minutes left, mate.
Top to 5 minutes left, Pete.
And the score is 12.
Fish on for Mark. Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. If you lose one, Corey, and you hook another one within a couple of casts, do you sort of take your time a little bit more to try and get him in the net, or do you just keep going at what you do?
It's interesting because that's the mental game of competitive fly fishing. When you're out practicing, you're pinging fish all over the place. You're dragging bigger fish across the surface. You never lose a fish. As soon as the whistle blows and you've got time against you and you're up against someone else.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. The score's a level.
Level score. Keep going now. Just keep going. Level score. Just keep fishing.
So you've really got to try and make it as natural as you can, even if you've made a mistake or if you've dropped a fish, you're going to drop fish. As you've seen, these guys have got a good percentage rate, hookups, landing ratio. There will be fish. The best guys in the world do drop fish. It's going to happen.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete.
This is like a game of tennis.
Yeah.
Eyes are going back and forth, back and forth.
So the mental side of this style of fishing plays a massive part in, the final result.
Oh, it's huge. And
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark. Did he lose him there, Rog?
I think he's still
Fish in net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. He still had him on. Scores a level.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
Roger, can you see what Mark's got over there in terms of structure? Is there a little run-in or a slower piece of water?
There's more current on the far side. It's slightly deeper, but it's pretty much flat bottom gravel with a little bit of weed. I think the fish are holding up mainly on gravel. Fish on for Mark. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Scores a level.
Yep.
Corey, does it play a big with the weather? Does that make a difference of where the fish might be sitting, like gravel or weed, compared to the weather? Or
yeah, I mean, I can only speak for the places I've fished throughout the world, but they definitely move and that's insect related. You can fish up a whole run with really good sight fishing ability and not see a fish, and you can finish that whole run. The sun comes out, it's an hour later, and you look back down and there's 12 big fish just sitting out on the gravel that weren't there before. So they do move around.
We're 30 minutes gone, please.
yeah, 31 minutes to go, and it's 16 all. We've got coming up tomorrow, we've got Tom O'Connor up against Danny Sizik over in the USA. That should be a pretty much a cracker as well, I think. I think they both got similar numbers where Danny is.
And where's he based?
I think he's in Pennsylvania area. Have you fished over there much?
Not in Pennsylvania, no.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. Mark has just taken the lead.
Keep it going. No, you're in front. Keep it going. You're in front. Keep it going.
Down for Peter.
You're in front.
Lost for Pete.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter.
In the net.
In the net. We all thought this was going to be neck and neck.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
Hey, Dave, can you tell me if these are wild browns or hatchery browns?
No, all wild brown trout in Ireland, Corey. We don't have any stock fish in our rivers. It's against our policy, fisheries policies. So every fish is wild. On occasion, you might get a local sea trout, or sorry, a rainbow trout. You know, we might get a few escapees, but far and few between.
Yeah.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Net for Mark.
Yeah, fish in the net for Mark.
What sort of setup is what sort of rod setup has Peter got there, Dave? 2-3 weight?
Sorry, Josh?
What sort of rod setup is Peter using? Is it 2-3 weight?
Yeah, he's got a 2 weight, an 11-foot 2 weight, just a straight mono. It's not tapered at all, just straight down to the indicator, and he's on fluorocarbon, 0.12 fluorocarbon.
Yeah. Danny Sizik, who's guest speaker? We have Corey Scott from New Zealand, mate.
Hey, Danny, mate, and all the best for tomorrow. Hope this pumps you up. This looks like beautiful. I love this water that Mark's in right now. Oh, sorry, Peter. Let's just see if it pays dividends. That's one thing, and as a fisherman, you love water, but doesn't necessarily convert to fish.
It's actually, it looks good on camera, but it's actually the worst piece of water he has.
Looks like a beautiful soft piece off to the edge of a riffle on here.
Yes, it is, but that's yesterday's flood water, so there wouldn't have been water there 4 days ago.
Gotcha. It's quite amazing that the river's it's got a lot of volume, but it's still running clear.
Yeah, it's running very clear. As I say, it's our first flood in about 6 weeks. And it didn't rise much, maybe 4 or 5 inches, but that can trigger them. But it's that colour is kind of putting them off a little bit today, I think.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net. That's just bumped him in front there. 18-19, Mark's favour. We have 26 and a half minutes to go.
25 minutes left, Pete. Yeah.
Danny Sizek said he's a big fan.
Easy.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Fish on for Mark. Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. He's fishing that same line as what you were speaking about before, Corey, when he was fishing below.
Down the boat a little
pushed up.
bit.
Yeah, he's got that tree growth there. It looks like a willow. What a bit of structure can do is just slow down the water enough and pull the current off that enables
fish on for Mark. Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. Mark's just got a handy couple in the lead at the minute.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Pete.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. After a floodwater, Corey, would you fish those little pockets that the floods made, or would you stick to the main part of the river?
No, I would. It depends if it's during the flood. Yes. If it's retreating, then no, I would just stick to the main currents. I mean, you don't get any more main current than where Mark is right now, and he started to pick up fish. So the fish have obviously moved back into the main seam of the river.
Yeah. Phil
Fish on for Mark.
Close one. Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark. So we've just got 24 and a half minutes to go, and it's 19-22, Mark's favour.
And it's really been a game of two hot spots, one each.
Yeah. So you find that one little pocket and you could be back in front very quickly.
Yeah. And if Dave's spoken that Peter's in the worst water he's got, once he gets out of that, he's obvious mentally you want to cover it because you're there. You don't want to just walk through it because you just never know.
Yeah. Because that one you might pick up there might be the winner.
Well, you're not in this situation, not really looking for ones, but in this type, he'll be thinking in his head, if there's one there'll be 3 or 4, and he can easily convert. But if he can get out of that spot now, because he's covered a bit of water for not a hell of a lot, so he needs to find another one of those honey holes, little ridge, indentation, something.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
Yeah, keep going. Keep it lit.
Is there a point in your mind, Corey, that, if, for example, the scores now, if Peter knew the scores, which he might do, does it start to play with your head at all? Or
Fish
not?
on for Peter.
Fish on for
Fish in the net.
Fishing
Not
the
not
net.
when it's this close and there's still this amount of time left. There's still 22 minutes. Maybe if there were 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But
20 minutes left, please.
he's got enough experience to
You're
just
fine.
pick
You're going,
this plan.
you're going fine. Fish on for Peter.
John for Pete.
There we
Fish in
go.
the net.
2 drifts,
in the
2
net.
fish.
Yep.
Now Mark's starting to search. He's started to run out of his
Fish on
fish
for Peter.
drifts.
Fish on for Pete.
Fish in the
Fish on
net.
for Mark.
Lost.
Who lost that one? Peter, did he?
Aye,
Was
Pete.
that,
Fish
you
in the net for
found it?
Mark.
hey, Dave, was that Peter that lost that one?
Yeah, he lost that last fish.
Yeah.
Did you get that fish there, Josh?
Yeah, got that one, mate.
Thanks.
Mark's on again.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. It's amazing how quickly you guys can catch fish, like out of these rivers.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
The thing is just to utilize their fight against them. So as soon as they've jumped or breached the surface, just keep that pressure and spring them. If they bury down and they get their tail into the current, you are up for a battle, and that's when you do drop them.
Fish on for Peter. Fish
John
in the
for
net.
Peter.
Not pick it up.
Fish on for Mark. Fish in the net.
1 or 2.
Fish in the net for Mark. Your reception's not real good, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah, the camera sort of reception's a little bit bad.
Okay, Josh.
Now we're right, I think. Yep, now we're right. Now we're frozen again, mate.
How you doing, Leon? Peter might be stuck for coverage. Okay, Josh.
No, he's still frozen, mate.
Pete, you're frozen.
We have 20
And
minutes
moving.
left, and the score is 23-26. Mark's favour.
Still frozen, Josh?
Yeah, still frozen, mate.
Pete, you're frozen.
Yeah, keep going.
Come down. Come down with us, come. Any better, Josh?
No, mate.
I see him. Need to find another honey hole over there.
You're frozen. It's frozen.
Now we've got you, Dave, I think.
Can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Yeah, and I can see you perfectly, yeah. Is it still frozen, Josh?
Yeah, it's frozen,
Still
mate.
frozen. The hearing is there, but it's frozen. Fuck it.
Let it rip, guys.
And the
Got a lucky break there that Mark hasn't converted.
Mate,
That Mark could have easily.
Come back in there now, Josh. Have you got me back there, Josh?
No,
Josh.
mate. Yeah, no, mate. I can't see a picture yet. Maybe now I can. Now we're right. You're on.
Okay.
Yeah, now you're good. And yeah, he was lucky that Mark didn't score at all there. 18 minutes to go. 23-26. Mark's favour.
18 minutes to go. 18 minutes.
left.
Yeah, keep going. Yes.
No idea why that's.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter, and he's frozen.
Fish in the net.
You're 3 or 4 ahead.
Dave, he's frozen again. Sorry, mate.
Is everything okay, Josh?
No, his pitch is frozen.
Pete, you're frozen again. It's up here. Come down here.
17 minutes to go. Score is 24-26.
All right.
At the moment.
How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, mate. We got you. We can hear you, Dave.
How you doing now?
No picture.
Hello?
Now we have a picture. It's
okay, we got
Fish on for Mark.
It's a bit,
Lost
bit
him.
frozen. Lost him. Mark's just dropped one. Now we've got you. Yeah, it's real patchy.
There. Here.
Yeah, we got you there, Pete. Dave, sorry.
Any good,
Looks like-
Josh?
Yep, got you, Dave.
Okay. Okay.
And Mark still hasn't converted, so he's been very, very lucky. There's 16 minutes to go, and the score is still 24.
Fish on for Mark.
16 minutes left. Tricky time.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep moving. Keep moving. Can you hear us, Josh?
Yeah, we got you, mate. Last 15
problem.
minutes.
15 minutes left.
24,
Fish on for
27.
Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
Oh,
He's dropped him, has he?
yeah. Schoolboy error.
Yeah, Mark went through that little period of not sticking anything, and now it's getting into his head. So that's competition fly fishing, you know.
You can just move the. Yeah, that's it, mate. Thanks, Rog.
Yeah, I'll move up.
At what stage of the game did you feel any pressure, Corey, in your matches when you had a game of this with the time remaining? Was it like last 5 minutes, 2 minutes?
Yeah, I would say sort of those last sort of 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the river that I targeted last winter does have a lot of fish that are very similar to this. They will pot up in the little honey holes, as we call them.
Yeah.
And even with 2 minutes to go, you know that you can peg back a 3 to 4 fish lead if you find that spot.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about the last match I played against Dave last year was when I came around my final corner, which was the best run on the whole river. It was barren,
Yeah.
and there was a gigantic cormorant sitting on a huge log just licking his lips. So I think he had just cleaned it all out.
What's the score, Josh?
The score is 24-27, Mark's favour, and there's 13 minutes remaining.
Yeah, keep going.
If you can just tilt the camera up, Dave. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Fish on for Mark. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark. Might be just a nice tiny little buffer there for Mark at the minute.
It's hard to see what else he's got to play with the rest of the water above him, but he's kind of abused that little piece there quite well.
Yeah.
Fish on for Peter. Fish in the net.
Pete. Fish in the net for Pete. Danny, hate to see that. He saw that last week with the reception. Tess Moylan, come on, lads.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Let me know when it's 10 minutes.
Yep. 11 minutes left, Dave.
Okay.
11 minutes left. 11 left.
And
It's
score is
funny.
20. What's that, mate?
It's just funny with competitive fly fishing. You know, you go recreational fishing, backcountry fishing, and spend 3 hours, and it feels like all day. But a 3-hour session in a typical competitive comp feels like 30
Fish
seconds. These hour sessions, they go pretty fast.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Pete.
10 minutes.
10 minutes left. 10 and a half minutes. 26-29. Mark's up. It'll be very interesting if Pete gets a couple of real quick ones there.
I'd be interested to see Pete drop back down to his honey hole where he started and give it another shot.
Do you think
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. Do you think that's on his cards?
Probably not with 10 minutes left, no. I guess it's probably about 80 meters down.
Yeah, about 120 meters, Corey.
You'll be down there in 30 seconds, Corey. 20 seconds. With all your gear. through the water. Waiting.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish in the net. Last.
Last. That's a few that's just got off just before the net. That could cost. He's probably lost maybe 3 or 4, hasn't he?
Yeah, Mark's probably equal with the amount of fish he's dropped as well, though.
Yeah, that's true.
About 8 minutes. Keep going. About 8. Keep going.
Just under 9 minutes. 26.
Make him rush.
Hey, Dave, do they not sell watches in Ireland?
What's the watch?
Say that again.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
It's quite nice to get a call from your controller of what time's available and remaining, but I've always preferred to be in control of that myself. You can really manage those last 10 minutes really well with a watch.
Yep. What about the scores? Do you like to know the scores?
Oh, not so much, because I just concentrate on one fish at a time, and what it adds up to at the end is what it is. You've left everything you got out there on what they say is the field. It's a wet field.
Pete needs that little honey hole, doesn't he? 32-26 with 7.5 minutes.
One of my favourite spots in rivers like this, and I'm not too sure whether it's the same for Ireland, but
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
the little tail outs of those glides where they
Aerobatics. Keep going.
Like where we see where Peter is.
Yeah, right where Peter is, where it's this glassy there. And there we go.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. Right there you're talking about, Corey.
Yeah, just those little there's just the glide where it just drops in over the back. They just love to feed in those lanes.
Yeah.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
See, Mark's almost ended up back down where he hit his first honey hole.
Yeah.
So he's given a bit of a rest and he's dropped back down again.
And you were talking about that earlier, that can pay off.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net. What sort of distance would you be casting, Corey? You wouldn't want to go any further than one rod length from you, or?
That entirely depends on the type of fishery you're in. Here in New Zealand, we have to be doing 4 or 5 rod lengths most of the time, unless you're in really aerated, heavy pocket water.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish on for Mark.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net for Mark.
My experiences in the US were pretty similar. You had to be quite further back from your fish. Whereas in Europe, you tend to be able to kick the fish in the face, turn around, and then catch them.
Yeah. 5 minutes to go, and the score is 28-35 to Mark.
5 minutes left.
Did you get that fish for Peter?
Was that a fish
yeah,
for Pete?
That fish was landed.
29-35. And you're talking about right where Peter's standing right now. That you're talking about where you like to fish for him?
Yeah, just those, even a little slightly bit higher, but he's obviously got to go through that water first. But just that glassy stuff where it just tips over into the broken water.
Is there much time left, Josh?
There is 4 minutes, mate. And the score is 29-35.
Yeah, keep fishing.
All right, we've got Sector 3 coming up, guys, in July. So if anyone's interested to give this comp a crack, we've got over here, we've got Norway, Sweden, Finland, and some other European countries, and I think it was southwest or western part of the USA. So if you're interested, if you're watching, you're interested to give this comp a crack, send me an email or shoot me a message on Messenger and I'll get in touch with you.
Fish on for Peter.
Fish on for Pete.
Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, 30-35.
Right now, this is still possible for Peter to pull off, but what he needs is clean hookups, clean net jobs. He can't have any other nymphs catching in his net.
Fish up, Peter. Fish in the net.
Fish in the net.
And then he needs Mark to catch nothing.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. Two and a half minutes.
2.5 minutes left. You're 6 fish up. Hurry up.
Five fish up. 31, 36.
5 fish, sorry.
Two fish a minute he needs. Just over 2 minutes. If you had that thought in your head about going back to where you started, just say, for example, in Peter's case, Corey, what sort of time would you go back? Last 10 minutes or?
Yeah, well, only if I was finished this water. Looks good. He's pulled fish out of it. He dropped a couple. He just had that dead patch in the middle there when we spoke to Dave about, that looked like really great water, but Dave informed us that it's flood water. Probably would have moved through that a lot faster to enable me to get through where he is now to double back with 10, 15 minutes to go.
I suppose it's all easy for us to sit here and watch
and
talk about it. But
hindsight's a wonderful thing,
1 minute left.
But you never
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark.
You never turn your nose up at a hot spot, and that first spot that Peter was in was definitely hot, and Mark's in the hot spot and he hasn't moved that whole time.
Yeah. Last 30 seconds.
Fish in the net for Mark.
Fish in the net for Mark. Might. Everyone see Peter hook one of those Atlantic salmon. Five seconds. And
Time.
game over, guys.
Time. Is that? Ah!
30, 39, 38, 31. 69 fish caught in 60 minutes. That's not a bad effort.
2 hours afterwards. Bring him in. Bring him in.
I wonder if there's going to be a bit of
Bring him in.
Staring going on tonight over a bottle of whiskey over there in Ireland.
Geez, that run was getting hotter. It's just unhooking a fish here, Josh.
Yeah, mate.
Show your fish.
Has he got a fish in the net, has he?
Beautiful.
Nice.
Lovely wild Irish brown.
Nice,
Finished
Mark.
today.
Congratulations. We'll go to you first, Mark. Congratulations, mate. 38 fish. Are you happy with that score?
38, 31.
Yeah, just 1 second, Josh. Where's my headphones?
Wait,
1 second.
Sorry, Josh, you're putting the earphones because of the river. I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're right. Have you got me?
Yeah.
38 fish, mate. Congratulations. Are you happy with that score? How many fish did you miss?
No,
or
not
drop?
really. I dropped way too many. I know when I was warming up down below and the beat below, the fish were spanking the fly a good bit because there's a massive hatch of blue winged olives on the water at the moment.
and yeah, the fish are they're up and they're down, so they're spanking the fly. A lot of the fish that I missed, they were spanking a lot, but I thought I had more, but it's obviously all the ones I lost. I'd say, geez, easily I missed close to 30, maybe more. I don't know. Like I dropped, not missed, but probably dropped 30. You know, I had a lot hooked under the water trying to get them ready for the net, and then just popped. Like it was just I don't know. I was not doubting the nymphs, but maybe the hooks are blunt or something. But then I got a couple of fast ones, and confidence came back on, and just rocked on then. So I was happy out.
Yeah. Nice, mate. Well,
so,
Corey,
tired in that heavy water over there, but the big hatch of blue-winged olives, when I got over near the trees and started getting a couple of quick ones, I just stayed on that side end because obviously there was more fly life around the trees. So I thought maybe the fish were just holding there. And as I went up along the tree line, I was just banging them out one after another. So it was brilliant. So
nice. Awesome work. You got any questions for him, Corey?
Yeah, congratulations, Mark. And that was definitely a game of who could find the honey hole. And Pete started first. He was picking them out every cast. It took you a while, and I actually mentioned early on that type of river like this, you just need to find that little recess, indentation, weed bed where the fish are lying, and you'll just pick one out one after another, and you didn't really move much. So congratulations.
Yeah, that's it. And even where I started, Corey, me and Roger were standing on the bank, and there was fish bubbling, like literally bubbling on the water right in at the shoreline. And I think my first 4 casts, I had 4 fish, but like I just didn't hook up. They were a little bit small, and I hit a few big ones, but they kind of spanked the fly a little bit. And then I think I had to change rod after maybe 5 minutes or something. The one fish put me in an awesome tangle, or broke me. And then as I moved out then on the second rod, I had to switch over. Then I was up in the knot. But yeah, I was expecting to get more fish along the shallows, but when I found them on the far side, I just stuck there and went with the drift of fish. So I was happy.
Awesome.
Okay. And
well, congrats.
Your fly size, what were you running there?
2 3mm nymphs, the same nymphs I was using 2 weeks ago. I've been working on them the last couple of days, even with Peter. I think Peter could have been on the same flies. 2 copper 3mm beads on 2 size 18 jig hooks. So.
Okay. And that fish you bought back at the end, was that typical of the size that you were catching? Because we couldn't see what size.
Yeah, a lot of fish that I broke in, I think 3 on my point fly. Yeah, good few that I hit under the water all around that size. But like I didn't really get too many small fish, maybe a few right in on the edges on the far bank, but maybe only there may be 5-6 inches, but the rest were all 9 inches upwards. But that kind of fish there I brought in, maybe it was close to 12. I was getting plenty of them. So they were all feeding hard on the far side where there was a swarm of flies all around me. Thank God we don't have mosquitoes in Ireland. That's all I can say. So
they're thick over here, mate. Over in Finland.
Yeah.
Well, mate. Big congratulations. You move on to the 3rd round. We'll see who you're going to come up against. We'll cross over to Pete. Let's cross over to Pete. You there, Peter?
How you doing, Josh?
Good, mate. Unlucky, mate. I saw you. How many fish would you have missed or dropped? We saw you drop
sure. Countless, Josh. The small trout, you're plucking them there on every cast, the place is stuffed with fish, just wasn't connecting. But that's fishing. You're not going to bag them all up, especially when there's an awful lot of small fish in it. Like some of the better fish were sticking, but some of the smaller ones, they've just come out of a fresh flood, so they were a little bit shy to the hook, but hey, that's fishing now. Let's say, well done, Mark. By the way, congratulations to Mark. Well done, well fished. Hope you do well in the semis.
We saw you get off to an absolute fly and start there. Didn't move, and you had like seven or 8 fish in the one little pocket. Did you think to go back there at all, or at any stage, or you had a set plan?
No, I had a set plan and I kept to it. It's the kind of river and the beat that I'm on. It's the same beat I fished in the last round, and there's fish the whole way up throughout it. Like I was meeting fish the whole way up throughout it, so just they were kind of sticking a bit more there for me than kind of when I got further up. And then, as you heard by my colourful language, once I lost the reception, that just threw me head for a good 10 minutes, and that was a key time. 20 minutes to go. You don't want to be losing reception. Upset, coming out of the river to reset the phone and stuff. It just absolute, was kicking the guts so hard to refocus after that.
Yeah. You got any questions for him, Corey?
Yeah, just at that point, Pete, you've just actually mentioned it, but you hit your honey hole, your hot spot, you were up on the board, you were probably 7 fish up, and then you came to that little middle section, which I actually mentioned to Dave, was looked really nice to me, but Dave informed me that was floodwater. Why did you tend to spend so much time there? Because then when you did get through, you were getting fish, and then we had that interruption with the technology, and that really done you over.
Yeah, good question, Corey. And you know what? In the last match, that it was a similar situation when Dave Coughlin overtook me in the last match. It was at that particular point as well. No, it's longer into the last time. But as I was coming up there, I was beating fish. You know, I was meeting them. Just the way the current was coming or the angle of my cast, I haven't then got it right. And I wasn't able to connect with those fishes as much as I would have liked, you know.
Well, congratulations to both of you, because that was actually really exciting to watch. It was like a match of tennis, back and forth.
It was war.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Corey, and thanks, Josh, for everything. And again, best of luck to Mark in the next round. Well done to you.
Oh, awesome job, guys. 69 fish in 60 minutes. Top effort and great fishing. And like Corey said, the winner kept changing right throughout the match. But I want to say thanks again, and say big thanks to you, Corey, for sitting up over there in New Zealand, giving us your time. We hope to see you again on the water at some stage in the near future. And thanks again, Pete, and commiserations, and congratulations again to Mark. We will see you in the round 3. It'll be interesting to see who you come up against.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Thanks a million, Josh. Thanks, Corey.
If you guys just hang in there, we'll head over and take a look at the table for round 3. So we've got sector 2, round 3. So the loser of the highest fish count. Pete could actually still go through yet. He's got 31 fish. So the loser, the highest fish count, will come up against the winner of match 8, and the winner of match 6 will play against the winner of match 7. So Pete's going to want to make sure that no one will get more than 31 fish to push him through. So fingers are crossed, a bit like Dave Donovan. But once again, thanks guys for watching. Tomorrow we have the match against Tom O'Connor up against Danny Sizik over in the USA. Tom there in Ireland. That should be an absolute ripper. That's at 3 p.m. Irish time. And if you're in Danny's area, it's 10 a.m. over there in the USA. So make sure you tune in for that one. And what a match. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you then.